Hi there, everyone. This is Ryan Rose Young, and for my paper, I chose to discuss the importance of proper nutrition with aging. I chose to do a literature review of various different journals and articles that I found really interesting on this topic. So, first of all, it's obvious that there are many concerns that come along with aging. And ensuring proper nutritional health is a huge help to prevent unnecessary or avoidable complications later on in life. Um, while the health of elderly generations often depends on multiple factors, um, nutrition is just something that is incredibly important in order to ensure the best health possible. As we age, our bodies change significantly. Metabolism changes, dietary needs change, nutritional needs change to adjust to that ever aging human body. My paper went into detail of how imperative it is to understand this importance, how best to provide proper nutrition, quality issues with food for aging peoples, and associated problems resulting from dietary decisions by going over previously published articles on the subject of nutrition in regards to aging. So the first journal I looked at was actually taken out of a workshop that discussed nutritional concerns. Throughout that workshop, it was discussed how dietary needs change when aging. Naturally, a person's metabolism will begin to slow down, physical activity decreases, and because of this dwindling in physical activity, the need for energy levels change as well. While this ever decreasing energy or need for it may seem like aging populations need to consume less calories, Tucker actually pointed out how more recent research demonstrates that those individuals actually may need to increase their nutritional intake. One of the reasons for this is because as you age, adults tend to run into issues with the ability to absorb nutrients from food that is consumed, as well as other different factors that may come into play when looking at this. Um, Sometimes medications can hinder nutritional intake because of the differences when pertaining to aging. So it's probably no surprise that the types of food people consume also directly affects their health later on in life. Diet quality really plays into the effects of cognitive functionality, bone strength, vision and eye health, cardiovascular functions, and the immune system of the elderly. So that importance of maintaining that in a nutritionally rich diet across a person's lifetime can help prevent other chronic diseases. While keeping the importance of a well-balanced nutrition in aging adults, the next step is to consider how best to implement and serve a balanced diet for the elderly. This can be especially difficult when many aging adults find it harder to go out shopping for themselves because of physical or socioeconomic barriers that might surface, as the inability to drive, not being capable of lifting heavy things, or having trouble, being able to prepare meals themselves, either because of monetary problems or the inability to do so physically. These difficulties that arrive can cause problems such as decaying teeth, inability to leave the house, and relying on others to do shopping for them. A recent article published noted that in the US there are nearly 8.6 million people who suffer from food insecurity, and a huge percentage of this includes the population of those older than the age of 65. Um, Inside of that number of aging adults, the racial minorities were most at risk of not being able to access the healthy food they need. Across the nation, millions of aging participate in government nutrition programs. Food insecurity is a huge issue within the aging community because along with this comes an increased mortality rate, functional declines, problem with cognitive abilities, and a higher hospital and admission and readmission rate. The reasons that federal nutrition programs at the local, state, and federal level are so imperative is that they are a key player in preventing the health decline of the senior community in the U.S. Programs like the Older American Act and meal delivery programs like Meals on Wheels have provided a positive effect when it comes to the health and well-being of those who utilize these programs. Services like these make aging in place a little more of an achievable journey for the aging population,
as help is brought to them rather than having to rely on help by going to a long-term care facility or nursing home. While these programs seem like a fix-all, there is still much to be evaluated in order to best serve those who need the service. As noted earlier, many of the participants are racial minorities, so making sure they are able to provide halal, vegan, vegetarian meals, or meals that are just as racially diverse as the program's participants is necessary. Recognizing that cultural difference in food preference is critical for attracting and keeping participants active in the services provided. COVID 19 had many effects on everyone across the United States and the entire world, but it also did damage in the quality of food attainable by older adults. The USDA and the US Census Bureau suggested that in the summer and fall of 2020, many households reduced their food intake due to the limited food access by almost double. Along with this, other studies have found that much of the US population of all ages made certain dietary changes during COVID 19 that showed a trend towards much more unhealthy food consumption during this time. Access to this food had a lot to do with this. While the at-home programs previously discussed are certainly ways that elderly people who are wanting to need to follow the aging in place model are able to continue with their lifestyles, there are also issues regarding proper nutritional care for the elderly that are in long-term care facilities and nursing homes. Um, Nutrition is another major problem in nursing homes, as evidenced up to almost 85% of elders could be suffering from malnutrition. Unfortunately, all too often, these deficiencies can be overlooked or not recognized in time. One of the best ways to combat undernutrition in nursing homes is by implementing an individualized care model for residents in order to provide the best nutrient-rich diet. By disregarding a person's individual needs, many health risks arise, such as safe swallowing, chewing, and difficulties with textures or the look of certain foods. These likelihoods increase that likelihood of malnutrition. There are also many psychological, pathological, and sociological and physiological issues that maybe also be playing a part in the decline of nourishment as we age. Many elderly people also suffer from decreased senses and taste, like smell, and this can also lead to many food aversions or dislikes. It can also sway certain preferences when deciding what to eat. A physiologic decline in food intake has been seen in people as they age, regardless of chronic illness and disease. This phenomenon has often been referred to as the anorexia of aging. Um, Throughout one's life cycle, the natural occurrences that happen during the process are inevitable. So, doing everything we can to make sure this ever growing and expanding community of elderly persons are helped and well taken care of is imperative. By ensuring that our elderly community has access to the proper dietary needs for their bodies means that we can ensure a healthy close to each and everyone's lives. We need to do all we can for this purpose to promote healthy aging and try to increase longevity through introducing or continuing healthy lifestyles. Taking these considerations into account cannot reverse the biological process of aging, but it can protect the physical body from unnecessary problems involving aging and to promote a healthier lifestyle. Thank you guys for listening. I have also listed all my references on the last page of this presentation.